Well, when I got Navin's book last evening, he
Most of us
rang,
got it last
rang
week,
me up and
yes.
said at gunpoint that you've got to read through it. So I spent quite a bit of time going through it. And then I went to my computer and I switched on Wikipedia and I saw some interesting figures. Foreign tourist arrivals in 1997 were 2.37 million. And in 2022, in 25 years, they've just gone up to 6.19 million. Of course, there was a
There was a
spike
pandemic.
about 10 million, and there was a pandemic, but it came down to 6.19. And earnings from foreign tourism in 1997 were $2.9 billion. And in 2020, they were just $6.9 billion. Now, I've always wondered how countries like Egypt, Greece, and Peru have been so successful in marketing their ruins and making billions of dollars out of them. And how countries like Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Namibia, Botswana, you name it, have been successful in marketing their wildlife and made millions out of it, billions. So I just figured that there must be some reason. And I looked at three factors that struck me. My exposure to tourism is because my wife and I have produced about 6 travel shows over the last 25 years. We haven't done one for the last 10 years. And I came out with three factors. The first was price. And I found that you find that India is not a price competitive market because the burden of indirect taxation, which is levied on the poor tourist, is very unattractive for him. And if you look at countries like Sri Lanka, and then you look at Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, you've got much better options at much lower prices. The second thing I noticed was infrastructure. Now, infrastructure is necessary to provide accessibility. So if you look at, say, for example, wildlife. In Africa, you've got all these plethora of small charter companies, air charter companies, that have these single-engined and two-engine turboprops. And they can fly you anywhere. And within Africa, across borders. So why hasn't that air charter industry been established in India to link up all the wildlife sites and all the forts? Because that's, again, a great thematic subject and of interest as we come back to the lack of our ability to market our ruins. And the third thing is the experience of the traveler who comes to India, and does he want to come back, and does he want to be preached at? We have a moral police in operation. Do people want to be judged when they come here on what they're doing and how they're behaving? There used to be a lot of tourists in Goa at one time, 30 years ago, foreign tourists. And if I remember, about 50 years ago, we had a family guru called Baba Neem Karoli, and in his ashram, I have seen Steve Jobs and Richard Alpert. Richard Alpert was the guy who founded or discovered LSD, and Steve Jobs is, the founder of Apple. Now, these are icons, and for some reason, nobody in India thought of using them to endorse India as a great destination for spiritual or tourism, as against religious tourism, but spiritual tourism. So there are many issues over here, and nobody has looked at it holistically and try to figure out that do we really want to do something about it, or do we just want to say, हाँ ठीक है चलता है? I think everything has to go together. You cannot say that pass a judgment against malls, or you can't pass a judgment against some other kind of structure, because the fact is that we need to create employment, and tourism is a great means of creating employment. Our country in the last 20 years has suffered from too much competition from China, and it has deindustrialized itself. Manufacturing has been badly wiped out, and without those jobs that manufacturing could have produced, if you have to turn to the service sector, tourism is a great thing. And right from the micro level right up to the macro level, you need to really give it a big push. Now the question is that who are the minds who are going to get together and figure out an order of how we need to execute this and how we need to push this forward.
Well, I see Mr. Amitabh Kant walking in, right on cue, for all these suggestions. Navin?